welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip, and this is Drinking Geeks. Hey guys, time for another episode of Drinking Geeks. This week I am keeping with the Tiki theme. This is the penultimate summer Tiki tropical, you know what I mean. It's getting late in August, and come September I'm officially switching over to my usual nerdy cocktails. In the meantime, this drink doesn't really have a name. It's just sort of really basic. It comes from my personal preference for simpler three or four ingredient drinks that, you know, I used to occasionally give my former co-host a hard time because he had a tendency to throw a lot of ingredients into drinks, and I generally simple as possible, easy to make after you've had a few. 3 ingredient drinks are really kind of a good place to sit. This one starts with 1.5 ounces of white rum. I'm using Plantation 3-Star because I like it. It's got a little bit of Jamaican funk without being too overwhelming, as well as, characteristics from the other 2 islands that it's from, and it's not essentially vodka like the Cruzan white rum. I think I've harped about that often enough. The next ingredient is 3 ounces of orange juice, which I've got to do in 2 goes in this. It just occurred to me, I've had this for a little while, I should probably give it the old sniff test. It doesn't smell like anything. I'll say that that's probably fine. So it's 2 ounces. Ounce number 3. So, there's 3 ounces of orange juice, and then you top off with ginger beer. I'm using Bundaberg because that's what was available apparently. Personally, for the mixing of cocktails, I prefer Gosling's ginger beer. It's sharper, which some people won't like as much. But anyway, then you stick a straw in it, give it a good stir, and that gives you this nifty, easy tropical 3 ingredient drink. Doesn't really have a name. When we were kids in my family, we used to like to drink a 50-50 mix of orange juice and Seagram's ginger ale, or Canada Dry, whatever our parents happened to get. It'd be called Juice in Jail, which I think amused my parents. Yeah, this is pretty good. The sweetness of the orange juice sort of overwhelms everything else, and it's very orangey, but there's still that good funk from the rum. Honestly, I think that the orange juice in this could be scaled back to 2 ounces, and that would give more room for the ginger beer. And if you're using something that's milder like Bundaberg, it's probably ideal. I quite enjoy it. It is, like I said, super easy, simple, sort of tropical with the rum and the orange juice. If you wanted to make it more tropical, you could just swap use pineapple juice instead of orange juice. I might be super lazy and do that next week. I'm kidding. I won't. I'll figure something else out for the last one. But there we go. Simple, effective, tropical 3 ingredient drink. Um, might as well take this opportunity, because this is super simple and quick, to momentarily talk about cocktail construction. So there are a lot of, like, or not necessarily construction, but like when you're, sort of spitballing, oh well, what can I make into this cocktail? One of the rules that I live by, or not really live by, I mean, and there are exceptions to it, but there's sort of a general 3-2-1 rule for good strong drinks. It's just 3 parts base, 2 parts sweet, 1 part sour, or 1 part dry. If you like sweet drinks, or you can swap it if you prefer tartar drinks. A good example of this is a cocktail that I'm going to be doing sometime in September, which really could be a summer drink. In fact, probably be a pretty good summer drink. So I won't talk about that one. I'll have to think of another one. But I mean, it's sort of, the basic construction of, well, you want to come up with something in a hurry. 3 parts base, 2 parts sweet, 1 part sour, or vice versa. And it really is a to-taste thing. So, like, this is an exception to that. It's 3 ingredients, and it's, well, let's call half ounce, or no, let's call 1.5 ounce, 1 part. 1 part, 2 part, top off. And 1 part, 2 part doesn't really work with this, so, I mean, it does with Gosling's, it doesn't with Bundaberg. It's sort of a very easy ratio to remember. It's 3-1. My co-host had a formula that he liked to use that was overly complicated seeming to me, but he's much better at math than I am, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was some mathematical reason to his that I just didn't understand. With 4 ingredient drinks, it's best to keep in mind that the stronger the flavors of your ingredients, the more they need to work together. Because, for example, let's say you went with, let's keep it simple, this as your base. This is extremely smoky, very potent and strongly flavored, and that will overpower your other ingredients unless they are strong enough to compete with it, or if they complement it. And it's much easier to go with complementing flavors than flavors that counterbalance each other, because if you're aiming for counterbalancing instead of complementing, what you end up with is a drink that's like whiplash, especially if you don't mix it well, or if one of the ingredients is a float, or a rinse. Last time we were making this show, we did a drink that required an absinthe rinse with a glass, and I don't think it ever made it to air because it turned out really poorly. And the base ingredient for the rest of the drink was rum. It was bad. Like, just remembering it just gives me a shiver. Also, fun fact, absinthe, like if you coat 2 glasses with it, dump that into a 3rd glass, so like a half ounce total, and shoot it, it will definitely numb your mouth for a few moments. I actually like the taste of absinthe, though, so I might ask for a bottle for my birthday. Anyway, I've wasted enough of your time. This week up in the poll, we have Canadian Club Classic 12-year-old, Old Pulping Navigator, Napa Castle 12-year-old, and Red Border's Premium Single Barrel South Carolina Whiskey. If you want to vote for what I review, all you have to do is join my Patreon. It's $1 a month. You get voting rights. You get to suggest cocktail ideas. You get access to the Discord where you can talk to myself, other members of my local whiskey club about whiskey and nerdy things like D&D. I think every single member of our whiskey club plays D&D. Most of us play in the same campaign. There is also a link in the description to That's the Spirit Pot Still stickers. I'm selling them on Etsy. The proceeds go to helping me maintain and improve the quality of this show. There's also a link to the Whiskey Lodge Discord, which is run by a nice guy named Joe. I'm a moderator there. We talk about whiskey-related things. Sometimes we get off on an off-topic discussion. Today we were talking about the illegality of home distilling in the United States and how apparently there are places in the world where it's not uncommon and not totally illegal. It was an interesting discussion. Let's see, what else? I think that's everything. So, until next time, stay happy, stay geeks. Sancha.